Hello, and welcome to a little culture and cuisine with myself, Samuel Vicolo, and my humble friend and guest, Miguel Batista. We're going to be talking again about a little culture and cuisine from Brazil, where my friend here originates from and his family. And we will be also making a little dish for you guys called beef stroganoff. So, Miguel, tell me why beef stroganoff is.
So beef stroganoff, it's really popular in Brazil because it's a simple dish to make and you can use a lot of spare ingredients. And in Brazil's culture, slavery also happened in Brazil. And for slaves to survive, they had to eat and they just would use spare cuts of meat, spare milk, spoiled milk that they had from cows that they would work on the farms, and they would just put a dish together. And as the years went, right, the cooking became more popular among people and it became more refined. So people started using better ingredients and it kind of developed into what the beef stroganoff is today.
Okay. So tell me, what exactly is this dish, though? Is it like a soup, a stew? What exactly is this?
I guess I would call it kind of a stew because you do have like the protein with the meat, the beef,
Okay.
and you also have the sauce that goes with it, which is a heavy cream sauce that makes a dish really rich and has a really strong and good flavor.
Okay, thank you. Now, today's main components of the beef stroganoff is about a pound of cubed beef sirloin. And then, to add a little volume to the dish, we have some Brazilian cream that my friend Miguel here picked up in a Philadelphia Brazilian market. And over here, we have a little Dijon mustard. We're going to do about a squirt of that for flavor. And we have tomato ketchup to add a little color. Now, over here, we have a little sour cream. In the end, if we want to add a little density, we'll put about a scoop of that in.
We also have some cubed brown mushrooms that are gonna be used to enrich the flavor of the sauce, and they're also gonna be good to bite on whenever they're cooked. We also have onions and garlic, which will be used to also enrich the taste of the sirloin whenever it's being cooked. And finally, but not least, we have a special spices mixture that I made at home with lemon salt, oregano, and butter steak spice. And we also have some butter.
Now, we're going to start by turning on our saucepan. We've already thrown in a tablespoon of butter, and we're putting it on a medium-high heat.
And first off, we're gonna start by adding the diced onions and we're gonna cook them until they're brown. And whenever the onions are brown, we'll add in both the garlic and the brown mushrooms.
Now, we want to make sure that we're constantly stirring this and getting our butter all over it to add a nice little glaze to the onions. About a little cuisine, and we're doing a little cooking. Is there anything in Brazil or anything about the culture that would lead to a little politeness at the table,
Yeah.
a little dining?
Yeah, for sure. In our culture, we are very casual with each other because, a thing that is different from the American culture, we like to get on with each other, hug, kiss, be really close to each other, especially within the family realm. And at the table, we're just talking and having fun, making jokes all the time, compared to other places where the proper manners at the table would be just sit quietly and just eat. And then after, when everyone's done, then you will talk. So that's something different that my family does.
So now that our red onion is turning a little brown, Miguel here is going to add in the garlic and the mushrooms. And he's going to stir that around until things start to turn color here. Constantly stirring. Getting all that butter still moving around and blending the flavors. Now, Miguel, some people have certain religions that lead them to bless the food sometimes before the meal. Does that lead into any form of politeness while you're eating?
So yes, in Brazil, most people are Christian. My family is Mormon, and specifically, it's a branch of Christianity. And one thing that we do every day, whenever we're eating at the table, we bless the food, and we also like say what we are thankful for, and just bless our family and others around us.
It's good to be thankful for your food. Now is the stage where I'm going to add in the beef sirloin to the dish. We're just going to let that cook. Eventually going to stir that around. And at the same time when you add this sirloin, we're going to add Miguel's little secret seasoning mixture here. Again, you want to add this as soon as you put the meat in.
Just drop the whole thing.
Okay. And I'm gonna douse just a little salt and pepper, just for spunk. Just a little bit. We're gonna do a little more mixing, okay? Ooh. Careful, pan's hot. You can already see that meat starting to change color. Miguel, I want to talk about the living status in Brazil. We know it's a third world country, so people are gonna be a little more poor, and I'm sure the cost of living is gonna be a little more high.
Yes, exactly. So, living in Brazil is pretty expensive, especially around the big cities. And a big thing in Brazil is favelas, which are little shacks hand-built by people that don't have enough money to buy and own a house. I was very fortunate to have a family that could give me a house that I could live in. So I'm very thankful for them for the opportunity they gave me to be raised up in a household, in a stable household where I have my parents, they would support
Now,
me.
Miguel, how do you know when it's time to add in that cream of yours?
So whenever you look at the meat and you can see like the brown liquids coming out from the meat, you know it's about ready, because that's gonna be the sauce that's gonna help give some flavor, the beef flavor, and it also is gonna help with the color of the stroganoff.
Okay, you can really smell that mushroom and garlic starting to come out. So we're gonna add in both containers of that rich cream. Make sure to get all of it out. And we're going to want to make sure that we stir it all up so everything's getting all that flavor. Now, Miguel, let's talk about the weather a little bit down in Brazil. You said you lived down there for a good majority of your life, and we obviously know it's further south, so it's got to be humid.
Oh yeah. Brazil is under the equator line, and also it's closer to it than America is, so it's very humid and hot. And what that leads into the cuisine is that foods that we often eat when it's cold, like soups or hot drinks, they're not as consumed oftenly down there. So foods like ice creams and ice is really consumed, especially in a hot summer day, which can go to temperatures of 100 Fahrenheit easily.
Now we're gonna end up adding the sour cream, just about a spoonful, just to add on a little density to the mixture there. Now it's starting to pop, so You're going to want to reduce that heat just a little bit. Mine's on just about a medium low. Then again, I have a gas stove here. And you don't want it to get dry here. You can see it's starting to stick to the bottom just a little bit. And that's why I turned down that heat. We want it to stay nice and loose, but still have that density. Now, Miguel, I wanted to ask you, we talked about the weather being so humid and all. I'm sure it rains a little bit. So tell me a little bit about the attire.
So the attire we customly wear, wearing pants, kind of never because it's always very hot. But we use a lot of shorts and a lot of t-shirts, just like those ones that you can like stay at home t-shirts because of like their old one, because clothing in Brazil is very expensive. So we tend to go more towards the casual clothing, which is very popular, especially among the younger people.
Now, is there any rules? I know some cultures can be a little more modest towards them. Some women can, wear some stuff over a little more covering. Some men have to wear specific attire. Does that anything apply there?
Yes, in the Mormon religion that my family follows, whenever we go to church, men must have pants and girls must have the skirts, and they gotta be under the knees. And that's one of like you also gotta have the white shirt for men. Girls gotta have like a white top just to complement and make sure they're wearing appropriate clothing.
Now again, we're going to add a little bit of this Dijon mustard just for a little flavor. Just a little squirt going around. Look about right there. Not too much. And a little ketchup for color. Make sure you shake it up. I don't want it to drip all over. Okay, I'm gonna stir that around. Again, I want to note that you need to constantly be stirring, otherwise it's going to be sticking. And then just let it simmer. Now, we're going to add a little more ketchup just because it needs to be a little more deep orange color. See if we can get it to get that one we need there. There we go. Peachy. Just peachy. Now, Miguel, you discussed eating a little white rice with it, so could you interpret on that?
Of course. So this dish, we often eat it with rice because the sauce combines with the rice really well, and the rice becomes really creamy, and that is really good. It makes the taste really good.
A nice little accent to it. So today we're going to be using a little instant white rice. Just throw it in the microwave like five-ish minutes. Only going to do about one serving. Beef stroganoff with Miguel. Look at that.